going to show you another fun one. You get, the guy calls up and says, you know, mayday, mayday, we're going down. You put in the LKP, and you say, all right, SAROPS, go. Yeah.
Saturated.
4 hours, optimized finish. Now, if you were doing this in a training scenario, would any of you call it wrong? Some of you say yes, or are they violating policy? So my problem in MSP2 is I can't turn around and say that's not a no-go. So I was explaining to during break, again, I would go back into the idea of good, better, best. Like, yes, that meets the criteria. Is that really what I want you to do, though? No. So how do we do that? What should I do to fix that? Split it. So what's the first thing we want to do? We told this guy told us he's going down, and he gave us a position.
Victor Sierra also did.
Absolutely. How long does a 1 mile, 1.5 nautical mile Victor Sierra take if you create it? Does anybody know?
Not in the boat or a helo?
No, in point of hours for SAROPS.
0.18.
With a helo. 0.18. You were listening. All right, good. So you'd have to do 2.18s for the 2 Victor Sierras, so split 0.18, do a transit 0.1, another 0.18, and then you can turn everything else off, or you leave it alone. But I'm just showing you what you can do. But I can get done with just all of that. And you go, oh yeah, that's gross. Look at that. But that's way better if you think about it. Your initial 2 Victor Sierras already had a 50% chance of pulling up what you're looking for. But now I'm moving with the drift. You compare those two side by side, I don't think anybody would argue that the top one's better.
Same time, man?
But look, the top one actually has a little bit better POS. Look at the joint POS of the top one. 83. This one is 77. Oh, sorry, yeah, take it back. This one actually is better. This one's a little bit better for the small capsize boat, though. Just a hair. But SAROPS will never create this. And so I end up with conversations with training officers and say, well, if SAROPS won't create that, why don't we just arm the system to be able to do this? Why can't it do this on its own? Can you imagine if we turned around to SAROPS and said, hey, you can split to your heart's content?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So let's leave that at the user level. How's that? So my point is that the user has to know when to split and how much to split. But we're not doing enough training on that. Again, as part of the training, give me 2 Victor Sierras and tell me what your POS is on those 2 Victor Sierras. You should be able to train that. You should absolutely be able to quantify that. So if the issue is on-scene endurance, I'm going to show you how to get past this. This is going to that whole myopic thing. So you're going to love this. I start off with a 60 and I give it 6 hours of endurance. And you're all going to go, show me any 60 that can search for 6 hours. None. I'm telling you, I want you to maximize it based on your AOR. So like for instance, if you know that it's only in one area based on the amount of transit I'm going to get, I can't do more than say 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. But you know a max value. Start there. Start with a max value, whatever it is. Because I'm going to build that in. I'm going to build it in as the max attainable. And then I'm going to go ahead and start splitting this based off what I want to do. Before they've ever even gotten up, I've just created a scenario. I created a scenario, I went into the planner, I know what I want to do for my initial actions. You're going to have an idea what to do for initial actions on some options. Pretty simply, if you have a position, Victor Sierras, right? You got a voyage, you're pretty much going to want to travel the intended route. LOB, down and back on the LOB. What else we got? Areas are going to parallel based on a coverage factor of 1 as close as you can, but you're getting the idea of, you're going to know what you want to do for different spots. So I'm going to split this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and give it 2 Victor Sierras. I'm going to give it an hour. I know that they give me an hour on scene. So I'm going to create the 2 Victor Sierras. I'm going to create the 1 hour of time, and I'm just going to turn everything else off. So the Alpha 4 is all the remaining time that I haven't assigned. All I've assigned here is an hour and a half. I know they can give me that. I didn't need to talk to them. I didn't need to get any information from them. But now I can go into my POS reports and start evaluating how effective we're going to be within just the first couple of Victor Sierras and how effective we're going to be on that first parallel. Because remember I told you, do the 2 Victor Sierras, have a conversation between CDO and SMC. Hey, I think at this point in time we're going to go ahead and start focusing on either PIW, cutting cabin, whatever it is. Toss that down, and now I have a totality of work after only my hour and a half. And I did all of that before I even had to talk to my SRE because I know they can give me this. Now it's going to be dependent on your different AORs because certain AORs you can't maybe do that right out of the gate. But I want to show you what that looks like. So if you look, because I deactivated 4, this is just the POS for the first 3. And it's telling me my cutty cap is 99.5. Well, yeah, then I'm not looking for that anymore. I've ordered an hour and a half. I still got some swamp capsize available. My PIW is pretty bad. So maybe you go, all right, maybe we need to just start focusing on PIW only at this point. Alpha 3, I put it on a cutty cabin just to show you kind of what you can do. But the cutty cabin had a coverage factor of 5. So I would go back to this one and say maybe I don't optimize on this one. I would probably optimize on swamped instead and do that instead. So then I would talk to my SMC, doing 2 Victor Sierras, and then I've ordered up an initial pattern of 1 hour for the SRU, focusing on the swamp capsize boat because of the amount of effort we have available in such a small area. And I can give you the POS and everything. That's from an hour and a half from now, once they get on scene. And then I go, okay, great. So then the helicopter, I want an actual burn rate. Helicopters, they burn differently because then SAROPS is done off, everything's done off of distance. Like, so the distance is here and distance is back, and so it's done off of hours of flight. That's not really how they do it. They do it in pounds and how quickly they burn through pounds of fuel. So I want to talk to them about what's their burn rate, how are they doing, how much time can you give me on scene? They can't do that for me until they get on scene. You've all run into this, where you've either given them too much or not enough tasking, because their burn rate changed once they got out there. Well, I can tell them, start this before they ever got off the ground. I'm starting to evaluate it, and then I can tell them, go ahead after the 2 Victor Sierras and tell me what your total on-scene endurance is going to be once you get out there. Just tell me so I have an idea. They say, sure. So I've assigned an hour and a half. Alpha 4 can be whatever I want, but I can't exceed the amount I've already given it. So they call way back and they say, hey, we can give you 4 hours. Total endurance 4 hours. I go, great, I've already assigned you 1.4 hours because of transit times and stuff. I've got 4.3 available to me on Alpha 4. So my available amount is 2.6 if you think about it. They give me 4, I've assigned 1.4, so this should be 2.6. So I just change that to 2.6. Optimize. So when people tell me, like, I can't do all those crazy splits and plans because it's too hard, I go, yeah, you're doing it wrong. Because you were trying to do all of it based off once you had all the information. You won't have all the information until you're already further down. You know what to start with. You know you have a little bit, so give it the little bit, go from there. This is why the whole idea of myopic optimization will change the way that you're going to brief, and it change how you're going to make your decisions. Instead of waiting till the end of everything, you're going to start doing the snippets of time. Because, as you pointed out, I completely agree, the majority of our cases are alpha. But the majority of our survivors are also alpha. So we have to treat them the same. And we have to be able to break that down in time. We can't just keep telling everything, go for the highest POS in the cutty cabin and keep going. So you don't need the total endurance to start the planning process. That's my point. I was showing you that in your simulations, you're not always going to have all the information in your simulation, so you can kind of make some decisions in there. And some of those numbers, some of those things you thought mattered, you found out didn't really matter, like the size of the boat, the sim in time, things like that didn't really matter. And if I told you that you could break down your scenario faster by just having a quick conversation with the CDO saying, hey, what do you think of the worst case scenarios? And they go, I think it's this. And I go, great, I'll build that scenario. What do you think is most likely though? Well, most likely I think they did this. Perfect, let's build that in also. There's no more back and forth and trying to figure out what to put in there. You know what to put in, and you can just put in both possibilities and move on. And now you're accounting for the worst case and the best case right out of the gate. And SAROPS will help you come up with something that's where those two plans line up, where those two simulations line up. So, too much effort, not enough effort, how all it's going to work. I think I've talked about all this. For all of you guys, you all turn around and say, well, cold water sucks, 4 hours. I'll be amazed if it gets that, if you get 4 hours based on what you got. But I'm going to tell you, I don't care what AOR you're in, PSDA is not my issue. The swimming is the bigger issue. You all know cold water shock. They got minutes if they can make it. So let's say they're able to make it. Let's make the assumption that they can make it. That means if you don't put the SRE directly over them quickly, they don't have a shot. They don't have a chance. So we've got to figure out ways of getting the SRUs over them faster, and SAROPS is not doing that on its own. And if you can't read the POS report, then you can't determine how to do that. I want this part. POS in relation to time. And brief that out. Okay? I have a little couple more things I can show you, but I wanted to go through that. Hopefully this is, like we said, paradigm breaking for a lot of things, but I can show you how the illumination thing is an issue. And we've all talked about the scuba and all the other fun stuff with PIW now, right?